All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a really huge shift that's happening under the hood of the software we use every day. We're going from APIs that just do what they're told to APIs that can actually think.
So I want you to think about this for a second. Is your API just a simple order taker, or is it an intelligent partner? Honestly, the difference is night and day. It's like comparing a basic hammer to a self-building construction robot. And this one change is completely rewriting the rules for how we build systems.
And this lays it out perfectly, the before and the after. You know, a traditional API is kind of like the plumbing in an old house. It follows rigid rules, it moves data from point A to point B, and that's about it. But an AI-powered API? That's like the smart management system for the entire building. It uses adaptive logic, it predicts when you're going to need more power, and it optimizes itself on the fly. We're talking about a leap from just shuffling data around to having real, intelligent interaction.
But, and this is a big but, an API can't just wake up one day and be smart. You can't just sprinkle some AI on top and hope for the best. You've got to design for it right from the very beginning. And that means you need a solid blueprint. So what's in this blueprint? Well, it all really boils down to 3 core principles. First, and this is a big one, decoupling the AI from the API. Second, you have to engineer for crazy good performance and scale. And third, you need total transparency, which means great documentation. Let's break each of these down.
Okay, this first one is absolutely crucial. Think of the AI as the brain and the API as the face that it shows to the world. By keeping them separate, by decoupling them, you can upgrade the brain anytime you want. You can swap in new AI models or tweak the logic, all without having to rebuild the face from scratch. This makes your whole system incredibly flexible and, honestly, future-proof.
But what about speed? AI can be, well, pretty demanding on your system's resources. So to keep things running fast, you need to be smart about your engineering. This means stuff like caching AI results, so you're not doing the same heavy lifting over and over. It also means using asynchronous processing, which is like having a great multitasker who can handle a bunch of complex jobs in the background without making the user wait. It's all about working smarter.
And that leads us to a really critical point on transparency. As we start relying on AI more and more, we have to be honest about its blind spots. AI bias is a very real thing, where the system can start making skewed or prejudiced decisions. Good documentation doesn't sweep this under the rug. It calls it out. It explains exactly what the AI does, what its limits are, and where potential biases might pop up. This isn't just a nice-to-have. It's just responsible engineering. Okay, so we've got our foundation, our blueprint. Now for the fun part. Let's see what happens when we actually bring this thing to life. Because here, AI isn't just a feature of the API, it becomes the manager of the API, actively fine-tuning everything in real time.
And this is one of its coolest party tricks, predictive scaling. So instead of waiting for a huge traffic spike to hit and then scrambling to react, the AI is constantly analyzing past data to predict what you'll need next. See how that AI predicted bar is a little bit higher? It's getting the resources ready before you need them. No more slowdowns, just a smooth experience. It's proactive, not reactive.
That same predictive power completely transforms security. You know, old security systems are like a guard with a really specific checklist. They're okay at spotting problems they already know about, but new tricks can fool them easily. AI security, though, is dynamic. It learns. And, like the quote says, it catches threats that those rigid, old-school systems would never even see.
So what kind of threats are we talking about? Well, think about complex DDoS attacks where someone's trying to overwhelm your system with traffic. Or even more subtle things, like tiny, weird changes in how a user is accessing data that might signal their account's been compromised. AI is a pattern-finding machine which lets it spot these super sophisticated threats and makes your security way more robust.
Okay, let's zoom out a little. Because AI's impact isn't just on how an API runs, it's changing how we build them from the very start. AI is basically becoming a co-pilot for developers across the entire lifecycle. For instance, during the design phase, NLP can look at your plans and suggest smarter ways to organize your endpoints. Then when you get to testing, AI tools, like Postman AI for example, can actually predict how people will use the API and generate realistic test cases automatically. And finally, for versioning, you link your AI models and data directly to your code. This is so important because it gives you a reliable undo button if you ever need to roll back to a previous, stable version.
So, what's next? Where is all of this going? Let's take a quick peek around the corner at the next generation of APIs that are coming our way. Two concepts are really shaping what's to come. First up is Edge AI. This is all about moving the intelligence out of the cloud and directly onto devices like your phone or an IoT sensor. The huge win here is speed. It cuts down on lag because the data gets processed right at the source. Then you have federated learning, which is a massive game changer for privacy. It lets you train AI models across a ton of different systems without ever having to gather all that sensitive data into one central place.
And all of this leaves us with one pretty massive question to think about. We're building systems where APIs don't just move data around. They manage themselves, they learn from each other, and they make smart choices. So when our machines can truly talk and learn from one another, what does that actually mean for our future? It's a profound shift, and honestly, we are just scratching the surface. Thanks for tuning in.